All right, welcome again to She Speaks, We Rise. I'm Dr. Nikki Clarke, and I'm so excited to introduce our formidable panel members today. So the first is Dr. Shelley Kushal. She is a human rights officer committed to advancing equality, dignity, and justice. And through her work in human rights advocacy and policy, she promotes awareness, education, and accountability around issues of discrimination and social justice. Dr. Shelley, welcome.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me.
Oh, it's a pleasure. Tell us a little bit more about what you've been doing.
Yes, thank you so much, Dr. Nikki. I am so honored to be here to share the stage with these phenomenal women here on International Women's Day. A lot of the work that I do, or previous to human rights work, was around gender equity, specifically related to poverty reduction. And now I've moved into human rights. And so human rights, of course, encompasses the principles of, as you said, equality, justice, dignity. So that is the lens that I bring to every space that I'm in. I am also the author of a new book called My Love Letter to India, which talks a lot about identity, colonialism, and my toggling of many worlds, being born in East Africa, raised in Canada with Indian heritage. So, yeah, lots to talk about today.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Dr. Shelley, and welcome those entering into the space. We are so excited to receive you. And as you're coming in, just a reminder to please put yourself on mute. And if you do have comments or reactions, remember this is a friendly zone. Please be respectful and professional. And you're welcome to leave your comments or questions in the chat. We're going to take a moment closer to the end where we're going to field some of those questions to the panelists if they wish to answer. And yes, let's have a wonderful kickoff to International Women's Day. So welcome as you come in. Our next panelist is Karen Richards. She's the founder of Karen Natasha Coaching, a transformational coach who supports individuals in gaining clarity, confidence, and purpose, and overcoming limiting beliefs to step into their authentic power. Please welcome Karen Richards.
Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. Happy International Women's Day.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Karen, for joining us. And please share some more wonderful things that you're doing in the community.
Okay, first of all, thank you for creating this space on this important day for these important conversations.
Thank
So,
you.
as Dr. Nikki Clarke said, I'm Karen Natasha Richards, and I own and founded an executive leadership and training coaching company where I support leaders across organizations to really strengthen their communication, their confidence, and leadership impact. So, a large part of the work that I do focuses on helping leaders step into their full potential and really helping organizations build environments where people from diverse backgrounds can thrive. And so for me, it's really about developing women's leadership. Not to say that I don't develop men as well, but I have a keen interest as a woman to develop more women leaders. So usually I look at going into organizations to specifically help women in conversations around access, opportunity, and how to develop influence. So just ensuring that more voices that are represented with a diverse background are being heard and making decisions at the table. So I'm grateful to be a part of this discussion today and look forward to hearing more from everyone.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Karen. It's such an honor to have you. And let us meet our next panelist, Sati Niran Simon. She's a best-selling author of The Crooked Path is Perfect, and through her writing and speaking, she shares powerful messages about resilience, personal growth, and embracing life's unexpected journey. Welcome, Sati.
Hello, welcome everyone. Thank you for having me, Dr. Nikki, on this important day, auspicious day, celebration of Women Happy Internationals, Women's Day, and girls, everyone. Thank you for being here. I come from a background of accounting and taxes. I'm a CPA, and have been working as a loyal public servant with the Canadian federal government, Canada Revenue Agency as a senior tax auditor, and also union work in different positions. However, recently I've pivoted onto a new, not a twist, another road along my path. And that is the power of love within and the having the strength and the courage to journey within, falling in love with the I, and the importance of having love within. It's an inherent thing that we all have, but we've forgotten about it, culture, politics, for whatever reasons. And I think it's more needed now more than ever. And when we have that power within, we have strength and confidence and don't need for external validation. So I'm really loving what I'm doing. I have retreats in Colombia and Medellin up in the mountains on physical modalities of healing and the other axis and tools of strengthening within. I'm also a fourth-time author, twice international contributing author to two international bestseller books, and a second-time recipient of Library of Congress certificate, and also voluntary work for magazine and International Peace Festival. I'm a global peace ambassador for the International Peace Festival. Thank you for being here and listening, and looking forward to hearing from all of you.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Sati. And our next panelist is Oksana Lupchuk. She's a best-selling author focusing on empowerment, resilience, and transformation, inspiring individuals to discover their inner strength and live with purpose. Welcome.
Thank you so much for having me here. I am honored to be a part of this International Women's Celebration. I was born in New York City, and I grew up in a Ukrainian American community. And my father was a freedom fighter for Ukraine and a four-time Holocaust survivor. So I was brought up in the atmosphere of fighting against communism, totalitarianism, and fighting for the freedom of all nations. And there was a group that my father became involved with called Americans to Free Captive Nations. And we would have events periodic, I think it was every year, to commemorate the captive nations. And we would do demonstrations, many things to show that we honor the right of people to live free lives. And as I got older, I went to seminary because I had an encounter with the living God, and I began to get involved in more humanitarian issues. We had a ministry center in New York City that was open 24/7. People would come, we would help them, we'd minister to them, we'd provide hope and encouragement to them. Then, as time went on, I became an interpreter, and I was in great demand because then the walls fell in Ukraine and it was open to the gospel. So I was able to go there and interpret. I've probably been there 7 times or 8 times. And we went to orphanages, we went to military installations, we went to prisons. So we were there with feet on the ground, helping people in whatever way we could. And just to make this short, since the war started several years ago in Ukraine, what we've been doing is sending funds, because I have personal contacts there, and we know the money is going to what it was designated for, to help them. And because many of them have been without food, have been without electricity. We even sent some kind of lamps or something that they could use in the dark. So right now, my focus since I wrote the book has been to let people know through the book that no matter what is going on, regardless in your personal life or even outside, because I even have friends now who live in Israel, and they tell me how they have to keep running to bomb shelters because of the missiles. So through the book, I encourage people how they can overcome. And I tell my father's story of how he overcame in the midst of such horrific circumstances, having been in 4 different camps and escaping. So I just want to thank you again for having me and for allowing me to share my story.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Oksana. I appreciate you being here. Our next panelist is Dr. Mandana Atarzadeh. She's a women's empowerment coach, author, and motivational speaker dedicated to helping people unlock their potential and pursue meaningful personal and professional growth. Welcome, Dr. Mandana.
Thank you so much, Nikki. Thank you for having me. And happy International Women's Day, everyone.
Thank you so much. And Dr. Mandana, can you share a little bit more about some of the exciting projects that you're involved in?
Sure. I was born and raised in Iran, and I immigrated to Canada in 2006. And since I came here, I was initially trained as a medical doctor, and I did practice medicine for a few years. But then I got engaged in a voluntary journey to change my career to community development. I've worked for Toronto's nonprofit sector for over 15 years now, mostly in community development and serving neighborhoods that are considered their priority neighborhood investment areas or revitalization zone, basically neighborhoods that are underserved and under-resourced in the city of Toronto. So I had the honor and privilege to work with these neighborhoods in the past at least 11 years, very much directly in neighborhood improvement projects. And I've learned so much about leadership through this experience working with the community because I have seen so many women and girls who don't have an official title of the leader, but they actually do leadership for their communities, their families, their children, and for their neighborhoods. And of course, in a bigger scale, their work doesn't stay in the neighborhood. It starts there, but it can have a citywide impact, global impact, or countrywide impact. So I've seen leadership from a very different layers. I'm currently a leader in nonprofit sector myself. And also, I am the founder of the Flourishing Women Global, a coaching company. I help women to connect with their inner strength and inner power. You know, our inner power is the basis of all the leadership. That's what we need to tap into. And I help women to bring that inner strength out and to have their journey toward any goal that they have in their life, to bring their voice, their strength, and also connect to their authentic self. I've done this work officially since 2017, and I've been able to help many women to connect to their true purpose in life and bring that leadership out and transform their lives. And with that transformation has come transformation to the life of the communities and their families. And for that, I've got multiple time awards. I've got 2 awards in 2019 for 10 Inspirational Women in Toronto, and also Susan B. Anthony Leadership Award in 2019. I got an award for Women Award for International Achievers Award, Women Achievers Award in 2020. And in just last year, 2025, I had the honor to receive an award for my leadership for the community, not just for the women. So that really, really, truly inspired me for the work that I've done in the communities to help this neighborhood. So I'm grateful I got that through the Resilient Women program. And very happy to be here with you today. And thank you for this opportunity, Dr. Nikki Clarke.
Well, it's a pleasure. Thank you so much, Dr. Mandana. And I just wanted to say that not only do I appreciate you and all the panelists for what you do, but especially if you could maybe just comment on the experience that's going on right now in Iran as a
Thank you.
member of the community.
Thank you for giving me this chance. Honestly, I wanted to say, I wanted to send a big shout out. Right now, I'm very emotional. I have been very emotional in the past, I would say at least 6 weeks from the beginning of January. And, you know, there has been a lot going on in Iran. These voices and this movement, they are not new. They have been going on in the past 47 years that we had this murderous regime in Iran and basically just killing people, you know, taking any rights and human rights away from them. But it has got escalated to a point that they killed 30,000-40,000 people just in a matter of few weeks, starting in January. And now, unfortunately, as you know, the country has been attacked by U.S. forces and Israeli forces. You know, I don't really want to make comment on war, but I think with what everything that this murderous regime was doing, this was coming. This was coming, and you know, I really leave it up to the people of Iran to decide what their future wanted to be. But I want to give a shout out to all the brave women. I'm sure many of you have heard about Women Life Freedom Movement in 2022, when young girls, literally teenagers, early 20s, all the women, but specifically young generation that were basically born and grew up through the time of this regime, they came to the street empty-handed and they asked for their rights. Many of them were shot in their eyes, many of them were killed, many of them were jailed, executed, countless number of people, and the same thing happened in the past 6 weeks, very escalated. But their bravery has transformed me. I've left the country 20 years ago. I haven't stepped in that soil since then, just once, a year after I came. But I haven't gone back because I didn't feel I can go back to that country, very oppressed country. But I'm hoping it will be free soon. And I've learned so much lessons about resilience and courage and bravery. Please go and watch what this woman has done with empty hand, and that gives us hope for humanity. We can change things. We have the power. When you have the inner power, the outer victory will come. I just want to make a comment about that. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Mandana, and my thoughts and prayers go to you and to all your loved ones affected by
Thank you.
what's
Please
going
keep
on.
Iran in your prayer, everyone. Thank you.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you so much for sharing that powerful exchange. It got me. But I'd like to introduce our next panelist. Her name is Chido Mandizvidza, and she is a passionate advocate for women's empowerment and community leadership who encourages women to pursue their ambitions while embracing identity and purpose. Welcome.
Thank you for having me, Dr. Nikki, and happy Women's Day to everyone. Well, like Dr. Nikki said, I'm Chilo Maxine Mandeshidza. I am somewhat of a philanthropist. I actually assist a lot of people in the disabled community. My main interests are also in cerebral palsy. There's a child that I actually helped to procure a wheelchair. That's when I started learning more about cerebral palsy, what causes it, the rates at which so many children are getting affected with it. So I also advocate for disability rights because in the latter days of his life, my father was disabled and we also had issues procuring a wheelchair for him. So that's something that I'm very adamant about when it comes to children and people with disabilities. I also advocate against period poverty, especially for homeless women. I happen to have pad drives that I run, especially for the homeless community. And I am also a Peace Chain Ambassador, a Global Peace Chain Ambassador. And I also won an award from the Women Changing the World Awards to 2025 Africa Regionals. I won a silver award for the work that I've been doing in my community. So yeah, that's basically me.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Cheeto. And all the members of the community who are coming in to witness this incredible day of She Speaks, We Rise. I welcome you. And can you see what powerhouses we have here? So it's a wonderful celebration of just women's strength and grace. Thank you very, very much for joining. So as you're entering the room, just a reminder, if you have questions or comments, keep them friendly and professional, please. Leave your comments in the chat and we will, towards the end, answer any questions or share comments. If you're coming in, please put yourself to mute to reduce any background noise. And you've been doing a fantastic job. So thank you so much for being here. So we're going to start with our first question, and this goes to all the panelists. And it just relates to leadership and what it means to you personally. So the question is, what does women's leadership mean to you personally? And how has your journey shaped your perspective? So we're going to ask that question first of Oksana.
Thank you. Thank you. Took me a while to click it. Um, I believe women's leadership, personally, what it means to me is that it's an opportunity to be a catalyst for change and empowering women to reach their full potential. And throughout my many years journeying, I have had many opportunities to encourage women. And I just want to mention, especially when we were in the Ukraine, we went many times to women's prisons, and it just touched my heart how grateful and accepting they were. The fact that we were there and we were able to minister to them, to love on them. And I think one of the panelists talked about being empowered by love. And I truly believe that when you go to these places, and women especially respond to that, um, your kindness comes forth, your love comes forth, and they see that and they respond to that. And we saw this happen many times. And I remember when we were in Ukraine, there was a woman who had 9 abortions. That was what you call their birth control method. So we sat with her, we were loving, we didn't condemn her, we talked to her. So we had many opportunities, not only in Ukraine, but even in the United States, to meet and talk to women. And in the ministry that we had, we were able to embrace women, we were able to encourage them, and to give them value, because every person has to be and needs to be valued, whether you're a man, a woman, or a child. And this is what we try to do. And I found that when I had that approach, when I was in a leadership capacity, I had gotten such great response and such loyalty, from the people and the women. And particularly, I want to share, because this was very moving to me. I was one of the leaders it was called Bus Number 9 in Israel. It was mostly women. And I was there for them, and I was leading them on this bus tour throughout Israel. And after the tour was over, they gave me a gift and shared this note. And that so touched me. And it says, "We have seen the love of God in you, the happy smiles. We'd like to offer you a little token of our love because you were so kind. And please receive these gifts from your friends, from Bus Number 9, from all of us. We love you." So that to me is so important, to give women value, to show them that they're loved, and to encourage them to find their purpose and their destiny. So thank you so much for listening to me.
It's wonderful. Thank you so much, Oksana. We'll ask the same question of Dr. Shelley.
Yeah, for me, women's leadership is about leading with integrity, with empathy. Someone's one off mute. Yes, thank you. Leading with empathy, with compassion, with accountability and justice. And my mom would always add humility. At the end of every sentence on anything, she would always end and humility. So I'll add that here. But I think for me, when we talk about leadership, and this is something that we don't do enough of as leaders, and I think we're moving more towards, and I'm adamant about bringing this into spaces, and that's about self-reflection, asking ourselves the hard questions, right? Such as, like, how does our privilege and our power and our positionality influence our decisions and our actions? Are we modeling the behaviors, that demonstrate leadership, like these values that I was talking about, right? Compassion and integrity. How are we modeling those behaviors as leaders? And I also believe that It's people who are in those positions of power and influence to challenge systems, to use their voice to create spaces for others. And above all, I think it's about uplifting and mentoring others. I always say there's room at the top for everyone, right? So the only competition really should be within ourselves to be better than we were the day before, not with other women, not with other people. And if we understand that and if we truly understand that, I think we would be more inclusive leaders and we would be able to bring people up with us. Thank you.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Dr. Shelley. And let's go to Chiru with the same question.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, so to me, leadership it's about being purpose-driven, creating spaces for others, which doesn't mean just simply holding positions of authority, but to me it means using your voice, using your platform, using my experiences. It also means that, as the panel says when she speaks, that when a woman rises, she carries many others with her. Leadership to me, it's about servitude. How best can I serve my community? And how best can I just show love to those around me? My community starts with my siblings, my family, because there's no use in trying to serve a community and trying to be a leader when you don't have a heart of servitude with the people that you live with. And also creating spaces and places for other people without being self-seeking. Like what was said by a former panelist, humility, I think humility keeps us grounded. It keeps us focused because, in as much as it is nice to get awards and get recognition, it's very important for us to know what the basis of our work is, and that's servitude, and to lead with humility, love, and compassion. So that's my view.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Chiru. Let's go to Karen with the same question.
Thank you. It took a minute there to also get the unmute button. So, women's leadership to me is really about being a servant first and foremost. It's about influencing with intention. And I know as women, oftentimes we lead in ways that combine strategy, empathy, and we're very collaborative. We always tend to create environments where people always feel valued and where different perspectives can be heard. But for me personally, I think women's leadership is also about opening doors for others, such as this platform that Dr. Nikki Clarke has given us today. I think it's about standing on the shoulders of each other. So leadership is really not for me just about my own personal success. It's really about creating opportunities so that the next generation and other women can see themselves in a leadership role as well. So I think for me, leadership is taking myself out of the picture and painting a landscape and opportunities for other people to feel welcome, to feel inclusive, and to feel that they too can do it. So it's really for me is also leaving a legacy behind.
I love that. Leaving a legacy behind. Fantastic. Thank you so much, Karen. We're going to go now to Dr. Mandana. Same question.
Thank you, Nikki. This is a very beautiful question. First of all, leadership to me is not about holding a title or a position. Of course, we have formal leadership, in organization, in political parties, but leadership starts from within. When we have self-awareness and we recognize our value system and we decide to connect with our authentic value and stand for them, stand for what is it right. And of course, that comes with challenges. That's where the leadership starts. And as many of my fellow panelists mentioned very truly, it starts with your family. It starts with people, the closest circle around you, your neighbor, your little community, in the neighborhood you live in, your friends. Like you can take leadership without any title in anywhere in life. So that and my observation in my community development work has really changed me. I think you asked what are some of the observation. I've seen these women stay single moms, stay home moms. They came together to stand for their children, for the safety of their children, some of the neighborhood that I serve, or for better education for their children. And they started with empty hand, with not even sometimes not a lot of education, not a lot of experience working with the systems and organization. They just knew what they want. They stayed very focused on their purpose and what their goal is. And they tapped into the power of women's network. They know some of these stay-home moms know so well how to do that. They tapped into that power and they just figure out they stood in all the challenges and all the hurdles along the way with so much resilience. And sometimes people come to me when I work with this neighborhood group. They ask me, okay, give us like a roadmap how we can achieve to our goal. I said there is no roadmap. The roadmap is hope, is resilience, and staying together. That's the roadmap. I cannot really figure out because every campaign, every challenge, it might get to a result very fast. It might take years, like what has happened in my country. And it might take a few weeks or few months. So you have to just get ready to stay purposeful, focus on what you want, and do not give up the hope. And the help will come along the way. You cannot figure out where the help is coming from or how the help will come. I'm happy to share stories. I don't want to take up a lot of times, but this is one thing to me. First of all, leadership can start, and it starts from the within, from that power of staying strong in what you want, standing for your belief and what you think is truly right. That's number one. And then about women's leadership, I wanted to talk about concept of feminine leadership not as opposed, as a complementary concept to women's leadership, because of course it is important that we have a good number of women in formal leadership position in parties, in organizations. That's very, very important. But where that comes from is from bringing more feminine quality. I think a lot of my fellow panelists also tapped into that. Feminine qualities that make us a woman, and that feminine quality can be manifested in man's leadership as well. It's not necessarily for the women. As a woman or a man, we all have feminine and masculine qualities in us. Masculine qualities are things like achieving target, being competitive, having goals, and thinking about hierarchy, and that's okay. That's needed in leadership as well. We need that as well, but complementing that with compassion, with collaboration, with humility, that many of you touched on that, with wisdom, intuition, with our women's intuition. And that's really what can change the leadership. Look at what's happening in the world, political leadership. So much war, so much conflict. It's coming from staying only on masculine leadership. And when we bring those feminine quality in our leadership, that's where things can change. You can see that in even the destiny of a lot of countries that have female leaders, women leaders, because they've been some of them, not all of them, some of them or many of them, they bring this quality into their leadership. So you see, they have better social systems, they have better welfare system. There is more for everyone. So I think that's a journey of reflection into ourselves, getting to connect with our intuition, with our inner power as a woman, and the exact same quality that we have as a woman, as a mother, as a nurturer, how we can bring that to our work. And that's not going to be easy. There are going to be challenges, there are going to be hurdles, and how we deal, how we can overcome that challenge. That challenges, instead of breaking us, makes us stronger. That's resilience. That's resilience. That's another quality. And when both these come together, then the empowerment happens. That's the empowerment process. You have your goal, you have your resilience. Now you are empowered. That's all. I know my time is done, Nikki. I got it. Thank you for the
Thank
opportunity.
you. No, that's brilliant. Thank you so much for, bringing up the differences, feminine energy, masculine energy, and the complement of working with both. Thank you so much for
Thank you.
sharing that. And Sati, same question,
Oh,
please.
wow. Well, just what everyone said is absolutely, absolutely. I really love leaving a legacy behind. And what the panelists just said about the female qualities, that the masculinity, the female qualities with the male counterparts also so needed. Woman leadership for me begins with how a woman shows up for herself and for others. Others at home, starting within your own home environment, and then ripple effects outwards. It is reflected in the way she carries herself with self-respect, compassion, and awareness of your worth, my worth, her worth. When a woman, a girl, honors herself, she naturally extends that same respect and dignity and compassion to people around her and to the animals, to the trees, to the water. True leadership is not only about titles and positions, it really is about leading by example through actions rooted in love. It's all about love, rooted in love and in integrity and respect. Whether she's making decisions in the boardroom, whether it's guiding her family, whether it's nurturing a relationship within her community, the leadership is reflected in the values that she embodies every day. And for me, leadership is the quiet yet powerful, powerful ability to uplift others while remaining grounded in authenticity and kindness and strength. Thank you.
Brilliant. Thank you so much, Sethi, for that sharing. All right, we're going to go to our next question. And this one is for Dr. Shelley and Karen. The question is, what experiences help shape your path toward leadership and personal growth? And just a reminder, for the sake of time, if we can just keep our responses to about a minute or 2 minutes, please. Thank you.
Yes, thank you. I think there were two I guess two pivotal moments for me that helped or experiences that helped shape my journey. The first is I met an Indigenous knowledge keeper named Maria Montejo, and she taught me about Indigenous leadership, which is cyclical rather than top-down approach. So that was based on shared values, on reciprocity, on equality, rather than hierarchy or authority. And when she explained this model to me, I realized that this perspective actually shifted the way that I viewed collaboration, decision making, and community-centered leadership. The second experience was I had to do a paper on my first day, or my first week, I should say, of my PhD program, and I had to interview a leader. And so I was very intentional about the type of leader that I wanted to interview. And I was very lucky to get her because she's the CEO of Google. And her name is Natasha Walji. And I picked her because she was a racialized Muslim woman, mother in a position of power. So I wanted to understand about how all those social identities influenced her leadership, and how she was navigating all those spaces, right? Holding so many different identities. And she actually took the time to mentor me. She not only gave me what I needed for my interview for my paper, but she also followed up with me after. She wanted to know about my paper. She wanted to know the outcome. And the outcome was greater than just the A plus. It was the transformation for me, knowing that this woman who is in this high position of power wasn't too big, too high, or too important to spend time mentoring and guiding and empowering me, and also creating pathways, not just for me, but for others to succeed. So those were two pivotal moments for me that shaped the way I think about leadership.
I love that. Thank you so much, Dr. Shelley. And the same question for Karen Richards.
Okay, so for me, I have two. One is when I used to work in corporate. So, as mentioned, when I said earlier, I worked 20 years in the corporate organizations and then 10 years in the private sector. So, one of my experiences around the leadership was a pivotal moment I had working in corporate when I noticed that there were very few Black leaders that were represented in the organizations and in decision-making spaces. And I was in more of an admin project management role at that time. And I had a lot of leadership skills, but I was oftentimes sort of, pulled back and not really gotten a seat at the table, because when you're in that field of admin, sort of project management, they don't see you in a leadership. But I kept, rising to the top, coming up with different processes, different things. But it really made me reflect deeply on what leadership access actually looks like, and that talent and ambition alone are not always enough. People need resources, mentorship, and a support system to develop the skills and the confidence to even want to rise above. So that really required me to step up into more leadership roles and seek outside of the department, outside of the organization. And that realization really shaped the person I am today and the work that I do today. So through coaching and leadership development, I really focus now on helping individuals who possibly were in the same position that I was in many years ago to build that capacity and confidence. So that really shaped me in helping others to get a seat at the table. And it was quite a pivotal moment because at that point, I think I was in my 40s. And, I had a good job, and now I'm thinking about pivoting my leadership into something else. So that was a big moment for me to have that leadership and confidence to do something, dare to do something different. So that was a pivotal moment for me, looking around and seeing how organizations are shaped. The second one is really related to that, where I had a really troublesome boss, let's put it that way, and knew that I could do more again in the organization. So that's when I would say my leadership towards starting this business really catapulted, let's say, because I didn't have any business experience whatsoever. And I think not only did it take self-esteem and self-confidence, but it takes a type of leader to try to start your own business because you're starting from basically scratch and with nothing. And I thought, you know what, the same leadership skills that I've got in the corporation, in the organization, why don't I use that on myself? So those for me, I think anyone being in business, whether you're full-time an owner like I am or a side hustle, or leadership in the office, I think we all have those pivotal moments when we look and see, you know what, I am a leader, but I may not have the title. And I don't think we should get so caught up on the title because I think as women, we're here to serve, but not be subservient, right? So there's a difference there as women. But I believe to serve because I believe in God and I believe I've been put on this earth to give my gifts. And part of my gifts are to serve and help women. So I think those were my pivotal moments that hit me in leadership. And I don't think it's just those moments. I think throughout my time being in business, I had pivotal moments of leadership. Even when I feel down and I feel low, there's a certain level of leadership where you have to rise up and sort of get through that muddy waters and get to the other side. So I don't think leadership ever stops, to be honest. But just to say that I think those two might be pivotal because it got me to where I'm today, where I'm making huge changes in people's lives. So I would say that's most pivotal for me.
I love that. And I like what you said. You provide service, but not subservient. I like that. Okay, wonderful. Thank you so much, Karen. And let us go to our next question. And this question is directed to Sati and Dr. Vandana. What challenges have you faced as a woman pursuing your goals, and how did you overcome them? So, Sati, if you can start with that question, please.
Oh, okay. Well, I've been in Canada for so many decades, and in the 80s, 90s, the environment was quite different what it is now. So a barrier I experienced as a woman leader was reflected to race and perception. Very much so. At times, especially earlier in my career, I started in the banking sector before the government, and I was not immediately seen as typically Canadian. So that first impression sometimes created assumptions about where I belonged or how I fit into certain environments. And there's quite a few stories, but we've just got a couple of minutes. And so, what helped me to navigate those moments was strengthening my confidence and embracing who I was. So, I made the effort to understand and participate in the culture around me, became Canadianized, learned to ski, change up the accent from the Caribbean accent. Those days were different. And so I made that effort to participate in the culture while also still remaining authentic to myself And over time, my inner strength and self-belief showed outwardly, allowing me to step into any environment with confidence, any environment, even without backgrounds for jobs or others, anything that I wanted to get into. Sorry. At the same time, there were moments when the corporate culture tended to favor certain profiles of leadership. And those experiences taught me an important lesson that while we can grow and adapt and contribute meaningful, systems also need to evolve. So leadership reflects the diversity to the community we serve, you know? So that's the barriers I faced when I was starting my career and throughout my career, actually. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Sadie, for sharing that with us. And we'll ask Cheeto to answer the same question.
Hello, sorry, Dr. Nikki, please repeat the question.
Absolutely. What challenges have you faced as a woman pursuing your goals, and how did you overcome them?
As a woman pursuing my goals, I think there's a lot of doubt. People doubt women a lot. Especially here in Africa, there's still some connotations that a woman's place is in the kitchen. Yes, there's some form of liberation, but traditionally, culturally, your family comes first, your responsibilities to your family, to those who are married. So trying to enter into the corporate world or enter into the philanthropic area, it can be quite demeaning how people can treat you because a woman is limited in some areas. But I've been very fortunate to have some mentors, the likes of Madrin Chuku and Patience Chikwida and Pamela Pamire, women who've been in this industry longer than I have. So I think that in as much as I have had those battles, there's some women who were the forebearers and the forerunners who were able to show me the way. So it wasn't as difficult for me as it was for them.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Cheeto. And what you said about, being taken seriously, I resonate with that because of just of my own experience in the media realm. 17 years ago, starting what I do, there was a lot of kind of adversity when it came into coming into this space, which is male dominated. So thank you so much for sharing that. All right, we're going to go to our next question. And thank you so much for those.
Sorry, Nikki, I thought I'm going to respond to this question. No challenges. I want to share my challenges.
You want to share your challenges?
I thought that was my question. No? Did I get it wrong?
Um, yes, it
I'm
is.
going to take 2 minutes. Is that
Of course,
okay?
of course. Thank you so
Because
much.
I know it's going to be many people's challenges. Okay, I want to share, I know there's a lot of challenges, but I'm going to share two here, the two that
Yes,
really it is the highlight of my channel. Number one is my change of career from being a medical doctor coming to community work and community development. A lot of people they thought I'm crazy, including my own mother. She has not forgiven me yet for that change. I don't think she's ever gonna forgive me. She lives with it now. But and a lot of other people they kind of thought I wasn't a good doctor or something wrong with me. Why you leave such a glorious career and come to do community work, underpaid, overworked. But that was my soul calling, right? That was my soul calling, and it wasn't an easy decision. I did it, over 20 years ago. And how I really endured all this is I just stayed connected with my soul. And it hasn't been easy at their moment. There were moments that what people thought of me, my family, a lot of other people got to me. And I kind of like why I did this, but I knew my why. I went back to my why. I had this solitude time by myself. I went to meditation and I reminded myself, why am I doing this work? And I have never regretted it. It has not been easy at time, and I've lost a lot of privileges because of that. But staying connected to your authentic call, understand first of all, hearing that and staying. That's number one, because there are moments that leadership is not going to be easy, formal or informal. So really staying connected to that. That's number one. And then the other challenge was, I think, the same thing that Saiti shared when I came as an immigrant. I had to totally find my new identity from the scratch. I was a doctor. I had really, really good jobs in leadership back home. But when I came here, I had to start working in a store, like as a sales associate, which was a great career. Nothing wrong with that. I learned so much through that process. But really giving my learned identity and starting a new identity was a total change, totally really shocking change for me. And what has helped me in all this hell? First of all, I look at these challenges as a spiritual gift. Every hardship, adversity, I look at as a spiritual gift. I've learned. I wasn't like that a few years ago, but I learned to ask myself instead of why this is happening to me, why I'm going through hardship. I've learned to ask the question, what should I learn here, and try to get to that learning faster. That's my number one question. And then I tap into my spiritual brief, my connection with God. That really, really helps me staying hopeful and staying optimistic that I will find a solution. And sometimes it hasn't been easy. It takes a while, all that. Plus tapping into my network of support, network of women's, not sometimes friends, sometimes just a professional network, my uplifting network. They might not be friends that I spend time every weekend with, but they have helped me in my moments of hardship. That's it. Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Dr. Mandana. Thank you. And we're going to go on to our next question. Thank you for joining us. And please keep, sending out those emojis. And if you have any questions or comments, I see some building in the chat. Please leave them, and we'll have some time set aside to address those questions. So the next question goes to Oksana. What role does confidence and mindset play in leadership and personal success for you? Please.
Okay, I got it. Okay, the mindset is extremely important, and you have to know who you are as a woman and not to compromise. Uh, so when I had a life-changing experience when I accepted Christ, this gave me confidence and flexibility. And there's a scripture that says, I know whom I have believed and am persuaded that he is able to keep that which I've committed unto him. So I've had so many different what can I say, lifetimes. I've done so many different things, and I've had to kind of be fluid in the sense that I had to adapt to so many different roles, some leadership roles, maybe some not. Were not leadership roles, but I did want to mention two things. I did work at Honeywell in a corporate position many years ago, and it was mostly men. So there was some intimidation because I was a woman, but I knew the product that they were selling. It was computer-aided design systems, and we had to do presentations about the product. And somehow I knew that I would get the award. And sure enough, I got up there, I did the presentation, and this is in front of a whole bunch of men besides women. And the vice president of the company gave me the award for the best presentation. So that was very encouraging to me as a woman, since I was in kind of a corporate world where there were mostly men. Now, also, when I went to seminary, it was all men practically. It was just a handful of women. And so, even in that situation, somehow, when you know who you are and you have a sense of self and confidence, it doesn't matter because that part of you will always come to the forefront. And even some of the women at the seminary, we kind of rallied together. We had our own group where we met and encouraged one another. And what it did was kind of bolster our confidence in ourselves and in the calling that we had personally in our lives. And what this did was caused even the men at the seminary to kind of look at us in a different way and value us, where we were kind of sought out, not just because we were women, but sought out to share our thoughts and ideas. And I was very privileged because I was a Ukrainian American. The International Club actually allowed me to be part of their group. And we had people there from Africa, from Mexico, from India, because they considered me as part of them. And having grew up in New York City, it was a melting pot of cultures. So I became a part of that group and they embraced me. And it was just a wonderful experience. And I remember sitting for hours with a man from Costa Rica and others from India, where we shared so many different ideas and thoughts. So that is the key to me as a woman and having confidence is listening to other ideas and thoughts and sharing your own as well.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Oksana, for that. And we're going to just go to the next question. This is for Dr. Shelley. How important is mentorship or community support in helping women rise?
Yes, thank you. So I think we've all heard the saying, it takes a village, right? And I think there's so much power beyond, like, it's taken me years to actually unpack what that one sentence means. I think a lot resides on community and resides on mentorship. And so I'm a big proponent of mentorship. I think, it helps give women access to opportunities that they may not have. Us sharing our experiences, right? Because we were not always in these places of position. We have attained that through, knowledge, through resources, through time, through other people who have mentored us. So I think sharing those experiences, helping others to anticipate, those barriers. And as I said, it should be reciprocal, right? I give to you. You don't have to give back to me, but you should give to someone else. So I really like this idea of the reciprocity. I have been mentored, as I shared a story earlier about the leader who mentored me. And now I am a mentor for York University's TASTE program. So I help students who are first or second year undergrad as they're planning their pathway to decide what they want to go into. I have conversations about what is human rights. What are sort of the pathways that you can take to get to, and what are the jobs? There's so many different jobs that you could get, if you're working in human rights. So mentorship is critical, but I think scholarship is even more critical. And so what that means is that leaders have to actively, like they can't just say it, they have to actively advocate, right, for women, recommend them for opportunities, ensure that, they do have a seat at decision-making tables, not just bringing you to places, but actually allowing you to speak. And I believe that if we want to create spaces for women to be mentored and to thrive, we have to not only provide access, but we have to embed equitable pathways at every level. And that's from daily practices to decision making, to policies, to systems and structures, to curriculum, to leadership, to hiring, to professional development. And it requires a complete culture shift.
It's fantastic. I like what you said about scholarship because education has a lot to do with access, and scholarship does provide that. Thank you so much for that, Dr. Shelley. All right. So we will go to our next question. This is for Karen and Sati. And the question is, in what ways can women support and uplift each other more intentionally? Karen, can you start that off?
Sure. So that's a big question. So I'm going to try to make this really brief. My two words of 2026 is intention, being intentional, and alignment. As women, we really need to be intentional about what we're doing. So intentional about our leadership development and opportunities. There are opportunities all around us, but we have to have the intention and as well as the action to see what's around us. So look for other women. collect almost like I'm dating myself, but back in the day they had the yellow pages, right? So you'd have these numbers of businesses and people in this book. Start collecting data and information of other women in organizations, and if you're in business, then in business, so that we can support each other by at least finding out, how can I help you? How can I serve? Remember, we talked about serving. How can I serve you? What are you up to? What are you looking forward to doing in your career or in your business? So it's about being intentional about your leadership and opportunities. And for me, this also includes mentorship, which Dr. Shelley just mentioned. I mentor women that have just immigrated to Canada. So I mentor them around life skills and career choices, and even simple things like etiquette and how to dress. And someone said, I think it was Sadie that says become Canadianized. She said she changed from Canadian. I don't even know if that's a word, but become Canadianized, which probably sounds weird in my British accent. For me, supporting women is also about sponsorship. If you're in a job, you want to have sponsorship, and I don't mean for a visa. I mean that somebody that's speaking about you when you are not there. So they're sponsoring you, they're talking about you, they're advocating for you. So we need to be doing that as women in business and women if we're in the professional setting. It's that leadership training and ensuring that women have access. Dr. Shelley alluded to that, to meaningful projects and decision making space. Equally important is creating that culture where diverse perspectives are really genuinely valued. That's what it means for me. And when organizations really embrace being inclusive, having been an inclusive leader, and then benefiting from that broader thinking. So stronger collaboration and better outcomes. And I just think as women, what we can also do to support each other is really to listen to one another. We're really good in the home setting of advocating and telling different things what to do in the home, like whether it's your spouse or whether it's your children or just getting things done. But when it comes to business or in the professional settings, we become so quiet, like we're on mute. So we really have to get our voice, be intentional, and then align your values with what you want to do and share it. Share it with another woman, share it with one of us. You've got all of our names, reach out to us after this and just say, hey, you know what? You don't know me, I don't know you, but can we have a conversation? Like really just trying to work with each other, because I know that as women, when we multiply, we can do great things. So let's think about how we can multiply with each other for 2026. That's one way I think that we can support women.
I love that. It's about multiplication. Thank you, Karen. And you know what? I think that's a great idea. If you would like to exchange information, panelists and members of the community, about how to connect with each other, please put that information now in the chat. I'm going to do the same. So we're going to direct the same questions to Sati, please.
Okay, I have nothing to say. Everyone has said it all. How can we connect, Karen? And um, I we can collectively create more inclusive and supportive spaces for all of us women by ensuring they have meaningful access to opportunities and encourage them to pursue them. This includes including providing the pathways through formal education and non-formal education. I really think non-formal education is very important. Self-education, it doesn't always have to be formalized. Mentorship and leadership development tools and that help women grow with confidence. And what I think that it's equally important, it's creating supportive systems that allow women to fully participate in all these opportunities. Many women also carry so many significant other responsibilities as family caregivers, as wives, babysitters, cooks. So organization and communities also need to be mindful of those realities and provide accommodations and supportive services where possible for women that perhaps need these. And also when we recognize and support women to have their full lives, live their full lives, lead. We create environments where they're fully able to step forward and where they can contribute and thrive. And so when we have inclusive spaces that are created where opportunity and understanding, they all go hand in hand. And I'm just going to trail what Karen and Dr. Shelley said that, yeah, there's a lot of things. Just let's connect. How can we connect, Karen? And multiply and have ripple effects because we're needed and there's room for all of us. Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Sati. All right. We are going to ask another question, and this is for Dr. Mandana and Oksana. So the question is, how can we create environments where women feel empowered to speak and lead? Dr. Mandana?
Uh, this is a really big question, Nikki. Thank you for bringing this up. And I'm going to more speak toward my experience as a former leader in nonprofit sector and also to the coaching that I do. Because I think, yes, it starts in the personal level, but there is a lot of factors that involve in the systems and the environment that we work in, or we do community work. It's really important to be reflective and mindful of that all the time and see how, as leaders or as participants in those spaces, what are the small changes that we can make. For example, when I want to work with community, the first thing that I think is how I can use a timing that work for that community. Certain communities, they are more professional. They prefer to have evening and weekends meetings if they want to do community work. Or if I'm working with families, with mothers that are stay-home mothers, their children go to school, their prime time is like 9:30 to 3 p.m. After children are back home, they can't do anything else. So really thinking about who are we working with, which community, which group of people, who is our target audience, and be flexible to and finding out what works for them. Time, location. With the online world now we have, it's good we can offer hybrid options to include women in, leadership spaces, trainings, meetings, community work, with both option of in person and online. And also thinking about other incentive that can engage people, offering dinner in our community meetings, offering a little bit of, if we work with low-income communities, we always offer transportation for people, reimbursing on transportation, thinking about what really I'm talking about the perspective of community leadership, mostly informal. But in within the organization, we also have to think of what makes a meeting or an environment feel safe for the people, to raise a different opinion, different from what mainstream or what management necessarily thinks, how we can make it safe, how we can not to hold points against people, against employees, be open to that, try to learn from that experience, maybe have frameworks, how you can raise your concern or a different opinion in many different ways. It can be anonymously, it can be done through different kind of surveys, or a suggestion box, thinking about alternative ways of getting people opinion, and also thinking about how we can lead the meetings more inclusive for people. So there are many examples, and I think we constantly should think about how we can make the space, who can come to this space, how they can feel safe, and how they can have more contribution. And I think really talking to people that we work with, asking them, and try to do as much as we can. Not always we are able to do everything that they ask from us, but I think at least getting an understanding and making small moves toward that, creating that inclusive environment is very important. And of course, having the mindset of being open to doing things differently, to hearing different feedback, different perspectives, and working collaboratively with others, asking in their opinion, let them to be part of the planning. I think that's very, very essential. Thank you.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. Oksana, same question.
Yes, yeah, let me continue with that. Great answer. But one way where we can invite or create environments where people can speak and lead is that we could foster a mentorship program to help the women. And also sponsor a program that help women to navigate career advancement, especially in male-dominated industries. So we can establish supportive networks, for instance, where women get together, they share their experiences, they can collaborate with one another and build community as well as encouragement, like we're doing now. And we need to listen to each other's ideas, and we need to give credit where credit is due, because I think that will bring encouragement to the women, and it will cause a safe environment because they feel like they're protected and that they have support from other women. And I right now am involved in several prayer meetings. I'm a leader in one of them, and it's all women. And it's powerful because you get together, people share what they're going through, what challenges they have. So we support them, we pray for them, we encourage them. And I think this is what we need so that women could rise. I love your title. You know, they can rise up to the challenge and take, like they say, the bull by the horns, and have an influence and have a potential to change people's lives.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Oksana. All right, so we're towards the end of our fantastic virtual summit. And please share your emojis. How are you enjoying this incredible sharing? Let us know. Share some love in the chat. Encourage these amazing women just making powerful impacts in their community. It says, you know, when you empower a woman, you empower a community, you empower a society. So thank you so much. So we'll go to our next question, and this is for Chido. What habits or practices have helped you maintain resilience and balance in your journey? Thank you. All right. Just a moment to put you on unmute.
Hello, can you hear me now?
Yes, fantastic.
Okay, one of the habits that have helped me is my faith in God. That has really helped to realign me and to balance my life. Because once I started allowing God to do his work in me, it connected me to my passion. My passion is helping people, and that is just more than a career. So balancing my purpose, my passion, and my professional responsibilities is something that's actually ongoing, and it's something that I have to be very intentional about. It's something that I have to make sure aligns with my purposes, my vision, and my mission of empowerment and advocacy. So I'm very self-aware about that, understanding when I need to step back. Because besides this, I also work in a call center, so I also need time to step back to recharge. Sometimes I need to refocus, and this allows me to maintain both productivity as well as my well-being. So ultimately, for me, balance is not about perfection, but it's about aligning myself as a Christian, aligning myself as a daughter, and aligning myself as a servant to the people that I serve. So yeah, that's it.
Beautiful. Servant leadership. Thank you so much, Chido. All right. Well, I am just inspired by today's sharing. And we have our last question that's going to be posed to all the panelists. And we can keep our sharing to about a minute or less. And then we're going to spend some time in the chat to answer any questions. There any comments? So let's start off with Oksana. The question is, what message would you like every woman listening today to carry forward after this conversation?
Yes, I have a powerful message I think will minister to the women. And these are a few scriptures in the book of Proverbs. And I want to end it with this. She girds herself with strength and makes her arms strong. She extends her hand to the poor and stretches out her hands to the needy. Strength and dignity are her clothing, and she smiles at the future. She opens her mouth in wisdom and the teaching of kindness is on her tongue. So when a woman speaks with God-given strength and wisdom, it inspires action and causes others to rise.
Wow, I just got chills. Thank you so much, Oksana. That was beautiful. And let's go to Karen.
Okay, so just a quick quote and then I'll do a quick final thought. So the quote is, "Women rise the moment they stop waiting for permission and start
Oh,
walking boldly in their purpose. Your voice, your story, and your presence are not accidents, they're your power." So, my closing for all the women that are here online and who might be listening to the recording after, as women, we carry strength, wisdom, and resilience that generations before us fought to make visible. So it really truly is our responsibility now is not just to succeed, but to open doors, lifting each other and creating spaces such as this where every woman feels seen, heard, and valued. So move forward with courage, speak your truth, don't be afraid, support another woman beside you, and never forget when one woman rises, we all rise. Thank you for being here today.
beautiful. Oh my gosh, full body chills. Thank you, Karen. And Dr. Mandana, please.
This was a powerful day, and I just want to say Happy International Women's Day one more time. And this is my closing thought. As women, we all carry within ourselves a unique power, the power to lead, to create change, and to uplift others, no matter where we are in our life and no matter what title or position we hold. When we support each other as and one another as women, we share our voices and we step into our purpose, power, and we can make incredible things happen beyond ourselves. The world doesn't need women to shrink themselves to fix the existing system. I always use this. I say we are not born to fit in, we are born to stand out. So let's step in boldly and powerfully into our true self. And the world needs more women who are willing to flourish and become the better version of themselves to help other women to flourish as well. Because, as many of my fellow panelists said, when one woman rises, she helps someone else to rise, at least one other woman, and that other woman can help someone else. Happy International Women's Day.
Dr. Mandana said it, born to stand out. Love that. Thank you so much. And Chido.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I just wanted to say that a woman who knows her worth doesn't wait for a seat at the table. She builds a bigger table and invites others to rise with her. So I think it's very important, just as you did. You built a table and you invited us. Thank you so much for that. So going forward, it is our responsibility to invite other women to the table, to build a legacy that will last for generations to come. And I'm so grateful for you having us on this panel, Dr. Nikki. And happy Women's Day.
Oh man, it's such a pleasure. Thank you so much for those pearls of wisdom. Women built the table. Love that. Thank you for that reflection. And we'll go now to Sati, please.
Well, I want to say thank you, thank you, thank you, Dr. Nikki, for having this panel. I'm so with Cheeto. Thank you. If it wasn't for you, we wouldn't be here today. And who knows where a ripple effect has taken us. And so my message for everyone here today is and to each girl and woman, never, ever, ever underestimate the power that lies within you. So when a girl learns to honor her own worth, and lead with love. Yes, it's all about love. And stay true to your purpose, her purpose, my purpose. She not only transforms her own life, but she creates a space for others to rise as well. So, as a conclusion, as a woman recognizes her strength within and leads with love and authenticity, she becomes a light that helps others to rise. Thank you so much, everyone.
Wow.
Have a wonderful, wonderful Women's International Day.
Thank you so much, Sethi, and thank you for being the light for so many of us with just the person you are and your incredible books that you've been sharing. It's all about love. All right. And Dr. Shelley, please.
Thank you. Yes, there's a saying, I think we've seen it, we've all seen it. It says, she thought she could, so she did. And that to me, and I've had this conversation with my daughter many times about how you speak to yourself matters, how you think about yourself matters. And if you think you can, you can. So that's the first point. The second one, and I've said this earlier, is lift as you climb. We've all had someone help us. We've all, and if we haven't, then we can be the first, right? And the last is lead with integrity, humility, and purpose. Thank you.
Wow.
This is beautiful. What you say to yourself matters. I like that. I love that. Thank you so much. Well, this has been such a powerful day. I'm fighting back tears because I feel very blessed that this has been such a really incredible sharing. And as many of us have alluded to, I hope this plants some really beautiful seeds. Those who are witnessing this today and for later on when it is available for us to share in recording. So those in the chat, thank you so much for being here and your comments. So we're going to go to some of the comments and questions that are reflected in the chat. I believe there were a couple of some insightful messages. So let me just pull them up. There was one that was directed, or maybe two, to Dr. Shelley. And the question for you is, in your experience working in human rights within school systems, I'm wondering if you're seeing any shifts in societal or cultural attitudes towards women and girls and non-binary folks changing at a different pace in these institutions. If you can respond within a minute, please. Thank
Sure.
you.
Thank you so much for that question. It's an excellent question. So I will say this, that I work in a specific region, so I can only speak to the data of the specific region, which is York region. All demographics are different, so the data is not necessarily the same. So I can't represent all of sort of Ontario in what I'm going to say. I think there is a shift. I definitely think there's a shift in my particular region. There's been an increase in funding for very specifically towards gender identity and gender expression. So for example, policies, committees, strategies. We have more gender inclusive policies. We have all gender washrooms in York region, anti-racism policies. There's been a real commitment towards this. One of the greatest things that I've seen is advocacy from students. So working in the place where I am for the last 8 years and collecting data, I've actually seen the trends of more students advocating for themselves at younger ages. So I do see a shift. I also see that interestingly enough, that the number one or the three top violations that we are seeing are in relation to race and specifically anti-Black racism, religion, and disability. We are not seeing a lot of information coming around non-binary folks. But I will sort of end on something positive, which is, if people if people can only advocate for their rights if they know about their rights. So one of the things that I've been very adamant about, and I've gotten permission to do, is to go into high schools and actually train on what are your rights, what is human rights, how can we advocate, what is the Ontario legal structure, what is our structure, and lastly, if we want to really look at where things are being done right, we have to look at global research. Canada is not there yet, but Finland, Sweden, and Indonesia, they are embedding all of these things like diversity, inclusion, human rights, equity from elementary school. It's part of their curriculum. So by the time they get to working adults, they know how to advocate for themselves. They know what to tolerate. They know about compassion, and that trickles not only into work, but into society. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Shelley. I think we'll field one more question and we'll close. This question comes from Bernadette, and it relates to mentorship. So if anyone first would like to answer this, it's fielded to anyone on the panel. Many young people want mentors, but don't always know how to build those relationships. From your experience, what practical steps can young people take to find and build meaningful mentorship relationships? So anyone from the panel can answer this. Karen, go right ahead. Thank
Sure.
you.
I think just a couple of practical steps that I tell whether you're young, middle-aged, or older, is to look around your environment. So your school, your work, your community, or even LinkedIn, and identify people whose path or leaderships you actually admire and start to make a list of that. When you have that little short list, 2 to 3 people or so, reach out respectfully and ask for a short conversation to learn about their journey. Most mentors, believe it or not, or even if they're not officially a mentor, will actually help you. It's just, again, your intention and your voice that needs to speak it out into existence. And I've never heard of any person actually turning down someone, especially a young person, to say, no, I don't want to have a conversation with you. And then remember that the conversation is not transactional. It's really a conversation, right? So you don't have to be perfect. You don't have to get everything right. But be willing to hear some feedback, show them that you're willing to learn and grow. And then the conversation just naturally starts to bond and starts to work itself out. And if you want more tips, just reach out to me. I'll give you scripts, tips, tricks, have a conversation with you, show you how to start the conversation. So I'm sure you can reach out to me. You can reach out to maybe others, but I'll be happy to help anyone that wants help with how to reach out to people that they don't maybe know, or even people that they know.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Karen. And Bernadette says, thank you, Karen. I'll reach out. But we did have hands up, Cheeto and then Dr. Mandana.
Oh, okay. Some of the stuff Karen had already said, but I think it is vital to approach mentors from a position of trying to learn and actually having conversations with them, not trying to make it transactional or trying to have pictures taken with people just so you can brag that I was with so and so, but try to actually learn and have a decent relationship with them. That will be reciprocal because mentors also learn from you and you also learn from them. That was my take. Thank you.
I love that. Thank you so much, Cheeto. And Dr. Mandana, please.
Yeah, what I want to share, on top of all the great point that my fellow panelists made, I just wanted to say, specifically for young people, there is a lot of programs within the nonprofit organization, within the universities, within the school system, that people can reach out to. They officially, they fund this program and they bring mentors in, and some of them, a lot of people don't know about these things, so some of them don't even get enough people in, which is sad when they have this kind of thing. So I would say reach out to nonprofit organization within your neighborhood, within the school system. If they are in university, there is a lot of official mentorship program that people can reach out, and actually if they enroll, they can get those mentors. And again, if you need help, I'm more than happy to point you. And specifically in the neighborhoods that I work with, they are mostly priorities, former priorities, or in neighborhood investment area. There is lots of investment in terms of mentorship program for young people, and I do have a team myself on that. So feel free to reach out, and I'm more than happy to provide more pointers on that.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Dr. Mandana. And Bernadette says, thank you, Cheeto and Dr. Mandana. We appreciate you. All right, we're here at the final lap of our incredible event. I'm super passionate and excited about the next steps from everything that I've learned today, and I just want to congratulate you all on just being who you are and continue to not only rise but help others rise with you. So as we conclude today's discussion, I want to thank each of our panelists, Oksana Lepchuk, Karen Richards, Dr. Mandana Atarzadeh, Chido Manjizvidza, Seiti Naran Simon, and Dr. Shelley Kushal. Thank you so much for sharing your wisdom, experiences, and inspiration. Today's conversation reminds us that leadership is not just about titles, it's about courage, authenticity, and the willingness to uplift others. When women support each other, share knowledge, and create opportunities for one another, we truly embody the spirit of She Speaks, We Rise. Thank you to everyone who joined us today to this meaningful conversation. May we continue to support one another, celebrate our achievements, and inspire future generations of women to lead with confidence and purpose. Happy International Women's Day, and thank you for being part of this empowering conversation. I'm Dr. Nikki Clarke. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Wow,
everyone.
this was
Thank you for
awesome.
having
Thank
us.
you, everyone.
Lots of love.
Lots of love.
Yes, thank you. It was a pleasure.
Thank you so much for having us.
It's a pleasure. Have a
Thank
wonderful
you.
day.
Thank you,
Wow.
everyone.
You're
Thank
welcome.
you.
Well done.
So
Thank you so much.
much.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Goodbye.
Bye-bye.